Hello all, I welcome my viewers to YouTube platform of Political Science, and today I am going to discuss on Brazil Constitution. This course is there on comparative political system, and here you have to study many countries including Brazil. So today I am going to talk about Brazil, and this is part 1 of the video series, and then you can continue with part 2 and 3 for more updates on this particular country. So let us discuss on Brazil constitution, how Brazilian constitution is different from the other constitution, what important features it has, and what are the political system of Brazil, how the federal system works, what is the party system, and then the electoral pattern of Brazil constitution. So stay tuned for more videos on this particular series. So as we delve deeper into the Brazilian constitution, we should first start with preamble. We, the representatives of the Brazilian people, convene the National Constituent Assembly to institute a democratic system destined to ensure the exercise of social and individual rights, liberty, security, well being, development, equality, and justice as supreme values of a fraternal, pluralist, and unprejudiced society founded on social harmony and committed in the domestic and international orders to the peaceful solution of disputes. Promulgation under the protection of God, the following Constitution of the Federative Republic of Brazil. Now, while you are introducing the Brazilian Constitution, you can talk about the various important features that are enshrined in the Brazilian Constitution. And as you come across the different features, you can prepare for your exam some important features. For example, if there is presidential form of government in any particular country, you should prepare on that. If there is federal form of government too, you should prepare on that. Now, what is the how the party system works there? What is the political system? How it is working there? Then, what is the electoral pattern? So you can prepare on these important topics, and including the if there are fundamental duties, directive principles, certain rights are there. So that too is very important if any constitution is carrying that particular part. So while introducing to the Brazil constitution, you can talk about how it ensures social and individual rights, liberty, security, and well-being, focuses on equality, justice, and a fraternal pluralist society, emphasizing peaceful solutions. Now, if there is any domestic in the domestic and international orders, how it is talking about peace and stability. Then fundamental principles. Brazil is formed by the union of states, counties, and the federal district. It is founded on sovereignty, citizenship, and human dignity. It emphasizes work, free initiative, and political pluralism. All power emanates from the people, exercised through representatives. Legislative, executive, and judiciary, they are independent and they are harmonious. Then, when we are talking about the different articles which are enshrined in the constitution, आपको जितना याद रहे एग्ज़ाम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आप उतना आर्टिकल लिख लीजिए. ज़रूरी नहीं है जितने सारे आर्टिकल्स मैंने डिस्कस किए हैं सारे आपको एग्ज़ाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से याद रहे. तो जो भी इसमें इम्पॉर्टेंट है और आप याद कर सकते हैं वो एग्ज़ाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आप उसको मेमोराइज कर सकते हैं. सो आर्टिकल 1, the Federative Republic of Brazil, formed by the indissoluble union of states and counties. Counties here means municipalities, as well as the federal district. It's a democratic state of law founded upon. So these are the important features on which it is founded upon. So what are those? Sovereignty, citizenship, human dignity, social values, political pluralism, as I told you. Then Article 2 talks about the different branches of the union, legislative, executive, and the judiciary, which are independent and harmonious with each other. We also should know that what is separation of powers, what are the three different organs of the government, In which countries we have the harmonious relationships, there is, you can say, um, mixing of powers of both legislature, judiciary, and executive, or where the countries which are carrying the difference power, there are separate categorization of powers. So that fusion of powers and that separation of powers, one should know which country has which pattern and why, which is more suitable for that particular country. That also is important to understand. Then objectives of the republic, that is building a society that is free, just, and unified, guaranteeing development across the nation, aiming to eradicate poverty and reduce inequalities, ensuring well-being without prejudice or discrimination, reducing social and regional inequalities. Then Article 3, the fundamental objectives of the Federal Republic: to build a free, just, and unified society, guarantee national development, eradicate poverty and substandard living conditions, to reduce social and regional inequalities, to promote the well-being of all without any discrimination. So then international relations, on what terms the international relations works. For example, it works on upholding national independence, giving more priority to human rights, supporting self-determination of peoples, then adhering to the principles of non-intervention, promoting equality among states in international affairs. Then Article 4 is talking about again the IR in the Federal Republic, how it is governed. So that is national independence, prevalence of human rights, self-determination, non-intervention, equality among states, defense of peace, peaceful solution of conflicts, repudiation of terrorism and racism, cooperation among peoples for the progress of humanity, concession of political asylum. The Federal Republic of Brazil shall seek the economic, political, social, and cultural integration of the people of Latin America, with a view toward forming a Latin American community of nations. Now, fundamental rights and guarantees. There are different chapters, and different chapters are carrying the different rights and duties. So chapter 1 is talking about individual and collective rights and duties, within which we have equality before law, rights and duties, protection from torture and degrading treatment, freedom of thought and expression, freedom of conscience and belief, non-discrimination, freedom of expression, protection of privacy, secrecy of communications, freedom of profession, right to information, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, right to property. Then Article 4. The Article 4, it is talking about the different principles which we had already seen. Then fundamental rights and guarantees. Then chapter 2 on social rights. Now education, health, nutrition, labor, housing, leisure, security, social security, protection of motherhood and childhood. And then there are various other insurance, social rights when we are talking about. So there are social guarantees, this employment protection, unemployment insurance, guaranteeing food, minimum wages, salary to the poor, then irreducibility of salaries, then nighttime work, wage protection, profit sharing, etc. And then the chapter 2 talks about the different social rights as we discussed in the previous slide. Then peace and conflict resolution. Now why this particular thing is very important, because each and every country has to maintain this peace and then negotiate with the conflict. So it is very important that actively defending peace in IR, seeking peaceful solutions to conflicts, strongly opposing terrorism and racism, encouraging cooperation for humanity's progress, offering political asylum as a humanitarian gesture. The Latin American integration, as we talked about, that seeking economic integration with Latin American nations is important, as far as the fostering of political collaboration in the region is important, promoting social integration is important, cultural unity, and also maintaining the community of nations. Then the fundamental rights and guarantees, that everyone is equal before the law without any discrimination, guaranteeing rights to Brazilians and foreigners alike, ensuring the inviolability of individual rights, highlighting the collective duties of citizens, providing legal protections for all individual. Then as far as citizenship and sovereignty is concerned, citizenship as a cornerstone of the democratic state, understanding sovereignty in the context of the republic, empowering citizens through legal frameworks. Then power is exercised directly or through representatives, and exploring the rights enshrined in the constitution. Then social values are equally very important in Brazil, and it is talking about the different social rights, social values, moral values, and then the norms, which is very important as a democratic value. Then the governmental structure. Now as far as the governmental structure is there, I told you that if we talk about any structure, we should explain it properly. For example, if Brazil is following the presidential system, now since Brazil follows a presidential system of government, with the president serving as both the head of the state as well as the head of the government, the president is elected by popular vote for a 4-year term and holds significant executive powers. Now why did Brazil go for presidential form of government? Why presidential form of government is important, or if it is not important, why? So why did Brazil followed it and preferred this system over the parliamentary form of system? That is very important. And the role of president and the powers and functions which the president exercises. And then the political system. So there are 3 branches, that is the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judiciary branch. Now, how these branches they operate, who are the a person who is ruling this particular branch, and what are the powers they are carrying. Now as far as the executive branch is concerned, the president is both the head of the state as well as the head of the government. The president is elected by popular vote for a 4-year term and can serve a maximum of 2 consecutive terms. 2 बार बन सकते हैं. अगर एक जो राष्ट्रपति हैं तो उनको दोबारा दूसरी बार भी उनको राष्ट्रपति बनाया जा सकता है. The president appoints members to the cabinet and judges also to the Supreme Court subject to Senate approval. Then the cabinet for form of functioning here, since the president is the head of both the is the head of the state as well as the government, obviously the executive branch is headed by the president and is administered by the cabinet of ministers, which includes various ministries such as the chief of staff, secretary of government, international and security, cabinet, central bank, and 21 other ministries. Now legislative branch. Now as far as the parliament is known by the name National Congress, legislative power is vested in the National Congress, which is a bicameral legislature. Bicameral means 2 houses are there, comprising the Federal Senate and the Chamber of Deputies. Now Federal Senate has 81 members with 3 representatives from each state and federal district. Senators serve 8-year terms with elections held every 4 years for 1/3 of the seats. Now the second chamber is known as the Chamber of Deputies. The Chamber of Deputies consists of 513 members elected based on proportional representation. Deputies they serve for 4-year terms. Now the judicial branch. The judiciary is another wing of the government, and it is independent, and it includes the Supreme Federal Court, the Supreme Court of Justice, and other superior courts. The judiciary is responsible for interpreting the constitution and ensuring the rule of law. Then the states and the municipalities, since it's a federal constitution, it is also following the process of devolution, that is decentralization of power. So Brazil is divided into 26 states and 1 federal district, each with its own autonomous government. States have their own executive, legislature, and judicial branches. Municipalities, each municipality has an autonomous local government comprising a mayor directly elected by the people for a 4-year term, and a legislative body also directly elected by the people. Then the political parties. Brazil follows multi-party system. Brazil has a multi-party system with numerous political parties represented throughout the government. Some of the major parties include the Workers' Party, the Brazilian Social Democratic Party, and the Brazilian Democratic Movement Party. Then direct democracy. So as far as the direct democracy is concerned, the constitution includes elements of direct democracy such as the ability for citizens to participate in decision making processes and propose legislation through popular initiatives. Now the next part, that is the Brazil part 2, I'll carry forward with more important features which the Brazil has and the special focus on few important features and discussion, so that you can write a good answer on this paper. So have a nice day. Thank you.